What's going on? This is the latest episode of my 2025 NFL schedule predictions. Today, we're going to be looking at the Baltimore Ravens. So before we start, I just want to say I fully expect the Ravens to repeat their success from last season. They went 12-5, great campaign, unfortunately falling a little bit short to the Bills there in the divisional round. Not the way Ravens fans would have wanted to see them go out. But I think after this offseason, the Ravens are going to be trending up, if not repeat success as the division champs and make a nice little playoff run. So first off, I want to talk about some of the offseason additions the Ravens made. Notably, they signed D-Hop. That's a great weapon Lamar has now. He has Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, the offense is, going to be firing on all cylinders. They also signed Malachi Starks in the draft. I was in love with him coming out of Georgia. I think he's really going to be nice in the Ravens secondary. The Ravens also lost Justin Tucker. He went ahead and retired, and they picked up a kicker in the 6th round, so it looks like they found a replacement there for their future Hall of Fame kicker. Other than that, let's go ahead and take a look at their schedule. So the Ravens are going to be starting off this year with an absolute banger. They're going to be going to Buffalo, which is the team that ended up ending their season last year. So we're going to see if the Ravens can go ahead and get revenge there on Josh Allen and the Bills. Now, I love the Bills also coming into this year. I'm very high on them and the Ravens. For the sole fact that this game is at Buffalo, that's the only reason I can give Buffalo the win here. Other than that, if this was in Baltimore, I'd be giving the Ravens the win. But then they're going to have a home game against Cleveland. I think the Ravens last year, they ended up splitting with Cleveland and Pittsburgh, but ended up sweeping the Bengals. This year, I see kind of a different situation playing out. I think they're going to end up sweeping Cleveland. Cleveland is just a mess right now. Who's going to be their quarterback? Not too many weapons there. With that being said, they're going to beat Cleveland. And then they're going to have a home game, Monday Night Football against Detroit. I think Detroit takes this one. Even though Lamar is notorious for being great against NFC opponents, it's just a primetime game in Detroit. I just think the Ravens start a little bit slow. Last year, they started 0-2. I kind of see them starting a little bit slower to begin this season, but you're about to see they're going to rip off some wins here. All right, the next game the Ravens have is at Kansas City. So this is the place that all premium AFC teams have tough times playing in. I mean, Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes at home. Normally you would go with Kansas City, but this year I just think Kansas City is going to regress a little bit. Their offense was looking a little old. I mean, they really got exposed big time in the Super Bowl. I'm going to have to give this one to Baltimore in Week 4. All right, the Ravens are now sitting at 2-2. This is where I see their schedule kind of loosening up a little bit. As long as they can win 2 out of those first 4 games, I think they're going to have a commanding lead on this division for most of the season. Starting with Week 5 here versus Houston. For some reason, Baltimore is just Houston's kryptonite, and it's a home game. I'm going to have to give this one to Baltimore. Similar deal here. I think the Rams are a great team, just like the Texans. Baltimore is just going to outmatch them, and it's a home game. I'm going to have to give that one to Baltimore. And then Baltimore comes across the bye week here, but then they play another home game. That's 3 straight. This one's against Chicago. Chicago, I see being kind of a mediocre team this year. Baltimore, I have winning that one. Then they have a Sunday Night Football game, primetime at Miami. I think Baltimore outmatches Miami, so I'm going to have to go ahead and give them the win there in primetime. Next, Baltimore goes into Minnesota. You kind of see a trend here. So they had 3 home games, and now they're having 3 straight away games. The NFL typically tries to limit that, but this season the Ravens, I mean, they have back-to-back stretches where they have 3 at home, 3 away. I honestly think these 2 against Minnesota and Cleveland, though, could not be better away games. They definitely got blessed when it came to their home games. Then we have New York, who I've kind of been high on all offseason, but I just don't think they're going to be able to compete with Lamar here. And I think the Ravens go ahead and take their 8th straight win. So now the Ravens are sitting at, 2 losses and a whole bunch of wins, firm lead on the division. Then they have an interesting one. This one I think could go either way. Cincinnati did get swept last year by the Ravens, but this is a Thanksgiving game. Kind of an interesting fact, the Ravens haven't played on Thanksgiving since 2013. I believe they were supposed to in 2020, but something about COVID and the game got canceled. But this year, this is a home game against Cincinnati. I think the Ravens end up taking this one on primetime Thanksgiving. They follow it up with a home game against Pittsburgh. I really like Baltimore. Home divisional opponent. We're going to go ahead and give that one to Baltimore. And then we have an away game in Cincinnati. This one's going to be tough. I definitely think Cincinnati could rip this one off. So I'm going to go ahead and give that one to Cincinnati and say that they split this season with Baltimore. I think Cincinnati's going to be a lot better than last year. They picked up some of those key defensive players that they were missing. Their offense is always going to be good regardless. They have Joe Burrow, all those wide receivers, but their defense is where they need to step up, and I think they're going to be able to do it against the Ravens here. So the Ravens are going to go ahead and take their third loss of this season, Week 15 at Cincinnati, but they're going to come back Week 16, rebound against New England. Not much needs to be said there. I think Baltimore's just a better team. It's a home game. And then this is a tough one here. They go to Green Bay, and this is Week 17 when it's real cold. I don't know what it is about Lamar, but he just wins against NFC teams. So I'm going to have to go ahead and give the Ravens the dub there. And then we're going to finishing out Week 18 at Pittsburgh. At this point, the Ravens have already got 13 wins. If it comes down to it and they have to win, I think they're going to go ahead and beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a gritty one. I mean, Pittsburgh always plays good at home later in the season, playoff implications. If they do have the 1 seed wrapped up, however, I do think they might go ahead and rest their starters and go ahead and give Pittsburgh a win here, which is going to round out the Ravens to 13 wins on the season. So I think the Ravens have a solid shot at getting the 1 seed here, if not the 2 seed. There's always some powerhouses there in the AFC. Who knows? Buffalo could sneak in as that 1 seed. Cincinnati could. But in total, I think Lamar and the Ravens, they're just always going to be a great team. You know, as long as that roster's put together, they're all healthy. I see the Ravens doing Raven things. So that's going to do it today. Baltimore Ravens, 13 wins. I'm going to have to go ahead and hammer the over on Vegas's line of 11.5 wins. Ravens 13 wins.